Hi, this is Bonnie Harkin. I want to tell you a little bit about our Learn to Be Happy, a 6-week group coaching program at Crossroads Programs for Women. At Crossroads, we offer many levels of help for women. We are women helping women. We offer 4 and 5 day intensive outpatient programs, 1 and 2 day therapeutic programs, individual therapy, individual life and recovery coaching, and group life and recovery coaching. We are located in a beautiful 1862 home in Pekin. People ask, can you really learn how to be happy? And my answer is, you definitely can learn to be happy. What is authentic happiness? Dr. Martin Seligman, in his book Authentic Happiness, writes this: authentic happiness comes from identifying and cultivating your most fundamental strengths and using them every day in work, love, play, and parenting. The positive emotions of confidence, hope, and trust, for example, serve us best not when life is easy, but when life is difficult. We use the concepts of positive psychology in coaching a lot. A job of a coach is to help you identify your most fundamental strengths and how to use them to achieve the goals that you determine you want to reach in your life. So let's talk for a minute about coaching. People ask, what is coaching? How does it differ from therapy? And how will it help me? I found this video that I think explains it beautifully.
When you hear the word coaching, what springs to mind? Football coach? Acting coach? Vocal coach? Maybe even a financial coach? Confusing, isn't it? Well, coach has become such a popular title that it's being used by lots of professions, often with no training. And sometimes coaching is just a fancy way of saying, I'll ask you a few questions and tell you what I think you should do. Well, let's clear the air a little bit about coaching. Coaching is often confused with therapy, consulting, and mentoring. Now, those are great helping professions, but they're not professional coaching. Here's the difference. Therapists focus on the past and work to fix what's broken. Consultants provide quantitative analysis and create roadmaps for organizational change. They get paid to provide answers. Mentors help those with less experience. Mentors are already experts in their field and are helping others reach success. Now, there may be some overlaps in approach, but none of these are professional coaching. Professional coaching is a different type of conversation. There's a whole lot of asking and not much telling. Professional coaches are focused on you, helping you design your future, your goals. They're thought-provoking and inspirational. You work on your topic. A professional coach focuses on you. Professional coaches are also discerning listeners, empathetic, creative, intuitive, and curious. They're trained in coaching behaviors and competencies, which makes them really good coaches, and they're bound by professional standards and ethics. A professional coach will be your partner, your advocate, your champion.
Let me take a minute or two right now and share with you an example of the type of things that we work on together in a coaching setting using a tool that I often use to work with codependency. You know, codependency is a problem that many of us suffer with. Our lives just get too busy, too complicated, and it just feels like we're being controlled by forces outside of ourselves rather than us controlling our life, and we feel like we have no power to control it. So one exercise that I use helps us start breaking the power that codependency has in our lives. It involves the use of one very powerful word. You know, it's a word as a child that we learn very early and use very often. But along the line, we forget how to use it. So take a look at this.
What? Why? Why not? First you need to get dressed and then Yes, first you have to get dressed and then you're gonna have milk. You said no. And Daddy says you have to get dressed first. But you have to get dressed first, or otherwise you're not gonna have any milk. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. We don't have to yell at each other. Don't yell. Do you want milk? Okay. First you have to get dressed.
Well, as that little princess shows us, she knows that no is a power word. And she definitely knows that it is a definite sense of self when she's saying it to her daddy. See, children recognize the power very early in the word no, and they go through a stage where it is absolutely their very favorite word. Our overcommitment often comes because we have a lack of good boundaries, or we're codependent, and we just can't find ourselves saying no like we did when we were a 2-year-old. But unless we learn to say no, we'll continue to be stressed out, we'll have too much to do, and we'll not have enough time. And what suffers is our health, our ideas, quality time with our family. So learning to say no will release you from the burden of always pleasing others and give you more time and freedom to do what you want and need to do. When we begin the process, we will do what we call an evaluation of the balance in your life, because generally it's a pretty rocky road in different areas of our life. And there are only 2 words that will really lead you to success, as Jack Canfield said so succinctly, and those words are yes and no. And undoubtedly most of us master saying yes, so we need to start practicing saying no, because that is how we'll get to some of our goals. Ironically, as we begin to say no more, we will experience some guilt. So you need to choose to see that as a sign that you're making some changes in your life. So whether you learn to say no more often or just learn to say yes on your own terms, you release yourself from the burden of pleasing others, and you give yourself more time and freedom to do what matters to you. So let's get started. There are some times when you absolutely must say no. That's when you're stressed or you're overwhelmed, when you're already doing too much, or when you're sick or you're tired. You always have the right to say no when it's someone else's issue, when it's something you don't want to do, when there's something you'd much rather be doing, when it takes away from your values and your wishes, when you think you're taken for granted, or when you deserve or need some time to yourself. Okay, now's where the rubber meets the road. Ask yourself, what things in your life do you need to say no to? Don't overthink it. Just write down whatever pops into your head right now. Let me remind you, don't overthink it. Just write whatever comes into your mind. Don't feel guilty. Don't do anything. Just write down the things you need to say no to. Got them? Okay, let's talk about them. There are a few things I really want you to consider when you are looking at why you don't say no more often. First of all, when you say yes, you're always saying no to something else, even if that is just simply relaxing, refreshing yourself, self-care. What currently stops you from saying no to these things? Think about that. What are your beliefs about saying no, and what are your beliefs about saying yes? Why do you say yes when you'd rather be saying no? How do you benefit by saying yes? I have a psychologist friend who says there is always a payoff. There's always a payoff when people make bad decisions. So understanding that you get a benefit out of saying yes and what that is, so you can begin to understand your own motivation in order to say no once in a while. That's an essential step in valuing your goals, your needs, and your time. When we say no to something, it's an opportunity to make room for something else that's truly important to us. In order to say no effectively, you need to be in touch with what's really important to you. You need to know your priorities in life. Then it's much easier to say no because we're clear on what we want and need instead of saying yes. So ask yourself, what is the most important thing to me in life? How would I like to spend more time? Where would I like to spend less time? What is my top priority this year? What's my top priority this month? What's my top priority this week? If I had a magic wand, I would do what? My top 3 priorities in life right now are: how am I meeting my top 3 priorities right now? What I have shared with you in this brief video is a few of the components of the exercise that we do in conjunction with learning to say no and codependency and boundaries. In closing, there are some things that I want you to remember. As with most things in life, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Everything depends on the relative importance of the situation, the people affected, what's going on in your life at the time, the person asking, your history with them, and so on and so forth. Changing gradually is just fine. If in the past you've been a yes person, you may want to gradually become a person who says no. You may want to take your time and practice on small things, working up to the big things. When no is the right answer for you, saying it pleasantly, assertively, and with conviction. If it leaves you feeling strong and good in yourself, even if there's a small amount of guilt, then you've made the right choice for you. And as my dear friend and therapist at Crossroads says, Mary Bellafato says it this way: no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain it. Thank you for listening. I hope that this brief insight into what happens in coaching sessions at Crossroads will help you make a decision. You can join a group that's starting in just a couple of weeks, and it will change your life forever. We say, change the words you say, changes the thoughts you think, and changing your thoughts changes your life. Thank you. As a reward for watching this video, to find out more about the coaching process, if you call today to register for an upcoming group coaching program, you can receive $100 off the program cost. Remember the coupon code, "No" is a complete sentence, to receive the discount. Space is limited, so call now. 1-800-348-0937. The code, "No" is a complete sentence, to receive $100 off the program you register for. Thank you.